Okay, greetings class. I'm coming back to you again with some more quick tips for analysis. In the first video, I was sharing with you the dashboard, and I just wanted to get a little bit more in depth into the dashboard and kind of show you a different view. For example, in this particular case, you are seeing that the student has completed all 10 of the periods. And what's important about that is that if you go into the dashboard, you're able to click on any of the period numbers to go back and see how you did throughout the simulation. Because you may be wondering during the analysis, well, back in period 4, my revenue was in the green, and now here we are in period 10 and it's in the red. What different changes or decisions that I make that could have possibly impacted me going from green, meaning that I was doing great and improving, to red, which means I'm doing worse. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Okay, I also wanted to share some information about market share. You'll hear the term market share used over and over again as you're developing your marketing plan for the class. So I just wanted to alert you that you can click on the market share tab and gain some information about how your company is doing market share wise. So you may recall, I believe it was in week 2, you were asked what percentage of the market share does your company want? Some people wrote 70%, some people wrote 10%. And so you can kind of gauge where you actually are and what's feasible by going into the new shoe simulation and clicking on market share. And I think that's important to mention. Another thing I'd like to mention is return on investment. So this determines, and it's used to determine the profitability in an area of interest to your company. So you'll notice in week 2, we talk about return on sales. So return on sales, what's your return on sales? So if you go into the simulation, you can see how you're doing as it relates to attaining that goal of return on sales. And I think it's important to note that every time all the goals or many of the goals that you are establishing for your brand as part of this new shoes simulation, as part of the marketing plan, you can go back and you can go into the new shoes simulation and see how you're doing. So when it comes time to prepare your final project, you can say, oh, my goal for market share was 10% and I attained 9% in the 9th period of the simulation. And for return on sales, my goal was 15% and I attained 10%. So this is a really good gauge at to say this is what my goal was and this is what I attained. So I hope that this information is useful. Okay, so I really just want to encourage you to play around in the new shoe simulation and look at the various options in the dashboard, such as the income statement, market share, return on sales, and really click on each of these items to see how your company is doing, how you compare to other companies in the simulation, and to help you with your goals that you created way back in week 2. So I hope that this is useful, and I'll continue to share some more video tips to assist you with some different areas of the simulation and how you can apply that when creating your marketing plan. And I just want to reiterate that analysis is very important in the marketing process. And as companies analyze their numbers, whether it's unit sales or revenue, return on sales, net profit, they're aligning that to their marketing strategy and those goals that they set forth for themselves. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and also keep in mind you can go back at any time and click on any of the periods to see how you were doing back then for comparison from period to period, or to compare why or how you could have done so well with revenue in period 1 and not so well in period 5. Okay, so have a great day. Bye-bye.